Welcome, everybody. I'm David Surver, teacher of a personal finance class, and I've brought my son Josh Surver here today. Uh, and thanks for being here today, Josh.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I brought you here because I know you're an expert in real estate and particularly investing in real estate. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in real estate?
Yeah, so I got into being a realtor and a mortgage broker a couple of years ago after buying an investment property myself. So we bought a townhome 2021 and it started making a pretty good return, turned into a midterm rental. We hired people for a lot of different things, setting it up, getting the furniture all staged, and yeah, we threw it up on Airbnb as a midterm rental, and we started making some great money. So we're like, how can we do this again? And realized, you need some capital up front to make it all happen. So decided I'd become a realtor to help other people do something similar, so that I could make some money serving others, and then use that to grow my portfolio down the road.
Awesome. I know in your time at the Air Force Academy, you started with investing in stocks. Why did you decide to make the switch? And I know you still invest in stocks, but why did you switch a big portion of your portfolio to investing in real estate?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know anything about real estate when I was at the academy. I had a mentee, actually, who was a year below me, who, after we both graduated, he jumped right into it. He started buying duplexes, started, fixing places up, bought a little motel, and then shortly after ended up buying like 3 apartment buildings. One was actually a motel he flipped. And if I had known what I know now, I might have done something similar, like right after, but I just didn't know. And then the other piece was, at the academy, I didn't have the bandwidth, or I don't know, they've got a lot of rules and restrictions, like you can't even live off base. So I think it was a little more of a restrictive environment. So stocks were a lot easier.
Okay, so let's walk through a typical deal that you've done. Think about a property that you've bought that might make a good example. How much did it cost? And about how much cash did you have to bring up front?
Yeah, so let's see, we bought one last fall that I'm pretty excited about. So we bought it, purchase price is $350. The remaining loan, so we did a loan assumption. So all government-backed loans are assumable. I found this niche with VA loans. There's a way you can do it with an investment purpose. And so we walked into the seller's loan, their balance, term, rate, payment, and they had about 337 left, which means we brought 13K to the table, plus closing costs of about 7, so about 20 grand. And yeah, what was the other question?
No, you've answered them both. So when we know you brought about 20 grand, now you all of a sudden you own this house.
Mhm.
Then how much are your expenses and your income that you get from this house every month?
Yep. So the mortgage is about 1,600 a month. That's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And then we've got property management fees, probably average about $200 a month. So that's 1,800. I like to have some in reserves for maintenance, capital expenditures, and vacancy. So call that another 200. So expenses might look like about 2,000 a month, and it rents for, just rounding, about 2,000 a month. So our cash flow is 0. But in real estate, there are 4 wealth drivers. The first is cash flow. The second is debt pay down. So we are paying off the loan, or rather the tenant is paying off the loan over time. Portion of that 1,600, probably about 800, is going towards debt pay down every month. And then there's, so that's 2 components: cash flow, debt pay down. You've got appreciation, which in Colorado Springs, we've seen probably about 4.5–5% appreciation over average over the last 20 years. So on a $350,000 house, that looks like maybe 15,000, let's call it, per year. So 10,000 per year in debt pay down, 15,000 per year in appreciation. Well, on paper, it looks like we're making, and in reality, we're making 0 per month on cash flow. The asset itself over time, over a long perspective, because, markets go up and down, we'll probably be making about an average of 25,000 a month or a year.
Awesome. So
in the fourth component, sorry, I said 4, is taxes. So real estate is great because you can use depreciation, which is basically a paper loss. You can, the government allows you to take like a certain percentage of the home's value per year in a paper loss, because they know it costs something to maintain the home. So they'll give you a little extra benefit, and so that paper loss can wipe out all the rental income. So it's essentially like a little boost to your return. It's not like a tangible, like actual dollar return. It's just savings. So the fourth component of return is tax savings.
almost sounds too good to be true, in that you put only $20,000 into it, and then at least on paper, with how much the loan is getting paid down and how much appreciation you're getting like 25,000 every year back from the 20 that you put in.
Yeah.
Then why doesn't just everybody do this? Is this investment better for some people than others, or how does that work?
Yeah, part of it is not everyone knows about it. So like the loan assumption strategy, it's some niche knowledge, and like the interest rate we got on this one was 2.5%. Like if you were to do this with today's interest rates, you might end up with a mortgage payment of like $2,500 a month. Now you add your $200 for each of those components I was talking about. It's $2,900 a month. That's negative $900 cash flow. That really eats into your return. You might be looking at more like I don't know, 10,000 a year in return, but you have to sustain negative cash flow for decades to make it work. So that is part of it. Is just like nobody knows about this strategy, and then the other part is you have to be able to mentally overcome the fact that there are going to be issues. Like we've got a couple rentals right now, and one of them flooded. I was out skiing. I get the phone call from the property manager. Said, "Hey, there's about $12,000 worth of flooding damage. Do you want us to go fix it?" I was like, "Let me call insurance first." So, like, you have to just on a dime be willing to just solve sometimes frustrating problems. And then just from a cash perspective, I mean, $12,000 is a lot of money to have to float until you can recoup it in rents and stuff. So on a neutrally cash flowing property, like that can be kind of stressful if you don't have high cash reserves. So yeah, it's headaches. It's like you buy the return with the headaches. I think a lot of business and investing is just what headaches do you want to have? What problems do you want to solve? And you can get paid, according to the level of problem you're willing to take on.
Almost like a risk and reward kind of a thing. It's
exactly.
Yeah. Question about you bought this thing for like $350,000. Like 10 years from now, what's that going to look like? And then 30 years from now, what's that going to look like as far as, how much value you have in this house?
Yeah. So over a 30-year term, which might be, right now we walked into 27 years left on the mortgage. So in 30 years from now, the mortgage will be all paid off. Appreciation, if we take that 4.5% per year, that means the property is going to be worth about 4 times as much in 30 years. So $350,000 is going to be a $1.2 million home. which you might think that sounds crazy, but 30 years is a long time. Just look 30 years ago. What did real estate look like? You know, there's a lot of like memes and videos out there. People are joking about like, you know, what was I doing when I was in middle school? Should have been buying homes, because now they're so expensive. But so like 10 years from now, you know, might not be that much, but still it'll probably be like 600,000-700,000. And then the rents also go up. So well, you might be neutral cash flow now, but you know, by the time right before we pay off the mortgage, we might be positive $2,000 a month. After we pay off the mortgage, now it's positive $3,600 a month. So now 30 years from now, like I'm 30 now, I'll be 60. So average retirement age. And I'll have a $1.2 million asset that's fully paid off and $3,600 a month in cash flow. It's not a bad retirement plan. All it cost me is $20,000 now.
Man, you make a pretty compelling case. You guys may like see why I ended up buying a house like this from Josh. It's a pretty compelling case. Do you have any last words of advice for my personal finance students?
You know, Warren Buffett, he says, don't invest in things you don't understand. So if you're thinking about investing in real estate, you know, it can be great, but you need to understand what you're getting into. So I think like any investment asset class, like you need to do your research before you just start throwing money at it. You know, for me, I don't get crypto. I just don't know what it's going to do for the world. Like I can't see it. I can't touch it. It doesn't feel like there's this pressing human need to have it like there is for housing. So I'm less inclined to put my money that way. Some people, they get it, you know, and they're able to pick which cryptos and whatever, like, you know, just do your research. And if you need help, like there are professionals out there willing to give you guidance as well. So find people who are trustworthy and can set you on the right path.
All right. Well, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today. And have a wonderful day.
All right. Thanks.